Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about the hottest game in town. Or should I say, in the fantasy realm. You've heard of dating simulators, right? Well, forget swiping left or right on virtual hotties. We've graduated to a whole new level of pixelated romance with Baldur's Gate 3. They say love is a battlefield, but in this game, it's more like a fantasy battleground, where you better come prepared with your armor and emotional intelligence. Now, I know we're all familiar with video game bugs, right? Those little digital creatures that pop up and mess with our gameplay. Like the mosquito of the virtual world. But let me tell you, Baldur's Gate 3 decided it's not just going to have bugs. It's going to have its own entomological garden party. The bugs are having a blast in that game. And they're not just regular bugs, oh no. They're bugs with character. Bugs that probably have their own Twitter accounts and fan clubs by now. And hey, did you know that in Baldur's Gate 3, you can ignite wood, set oil and alcohol on fire, and conduct electricity through water? I mean, who needs a science class when you can just log into a fantasy world and be the next mad scientist of elemental chaos? Honey, what are you doing in there? Just electrifying water, dear, you know, the usual. But here's the kicker, the game can turn from real-time action to a turn-based system during combat. It's like when you're in the middle of an argument with someone, and then suddenly you both decide, wait, let's take turns yelling at each other, just to keep it fair. And speaking of yelling, don't you just love how this game makes you strategize and plan your moves? Like a virtual version of a family vacation. No, honey, we can't attack the dragon yet. I haven't finished reading the manual on dragon slaying. Now, I've got to talk about the romantic side of Baldur's Gate 3. It's like Tinder for fantasy characters, where swiping right can lead to a steamy, pixelated rendezvous. And the best part, you don't even have to worry about your hair being perfect or your breath smelling minty fresh. Just make sure your charisma stat is on point, and you're good to go. But folks, remember, there's a reason this game is rated M for mature. It's like playing D&D with a bunch of middle-aged adventurers who still think it's a good idea to wear chainmail bikinis into battle. I mean, who needs actual armor when you can seduce your enemies into submission, right? It's all about that emotional warfare. In conclusion, Baldur's Gate 3 is like the wildest fantasy you've ever had, and then some. It's a game that combines romance, strategy, and bugs that rival the insect collection at your local natural history museum. So whether you're a seasoned adventurer or just looking for a little virtual love, grab your dice and get ready to roll, because Baldur's Gate 3 is waiting to sweep you off your pixelated feet. Thank you, and remember, save often, romance wisely, and may your critical hits be ever in your favor.